Hi guys, my name's Matt. Welcome to my new YouTube channel where I'm going to hopefully be able to give you some tips and advice on motorcycle maintenance, bits of welding, stuff like that maybe. This is my first video and today I'm going to be showing you a Wurth Timesert. Okay, it's a similar thing to a helicoil, but in my opinion a hell of a lot better. So let's get started. Okay, we have the main items in front of us here. We'll start with the actual insert itself. As you can see, this insert is a complete piece. It's not just a coil. Now that outer section there is what will screw into the new thread that you cut, and if you can see inside, the inner thread doesn't actually go all the way to the bottom of the insert. Now the idea of this is when you put the last stage of the tools in, that is actually pressed out into the new thread that you've cut. Okay, so these are the parts. New larger drill, which is used to open out the existing damaged threaded hole. The counter bore, which recesses the hole to allow the other end of this to seat. As you can see, that slight shoulder on there. And then the tap, and the final stage, which is the actual driver to insert the Timesert itself. Okay, right, so I'm going to try and get started on this and hopefully give you some insight into how this works, and like I say, in my opinion, this is a far superior item to that of a helicoil. Okay, right, so we'll start off. We have a 125 two-stroke KTM casing here, and somebody has managed to strip the thread on the oil level bolt, and that is what we're going to be repairing today. Okay, so I'll just try and get my camera set up a bit so that I've got my hands free, and we'll get started. Okay, right, you will also need a tap wrench like so. This is a ratchet type. You don't have to use this type, but this is what I use, and it's quite a good tool. Okay, so let's get started. Firstly, we'll use the drill bit to open the hole out. This already has a square end specifically for the tap wrench. Okay, now we will now continue to open out the hole. Okay, beautiful, that's done. Remove that piece. Okay, the next tool is the counter boring tool. Okay, we need to go in with this. We need to take it deep enough that it's going to be, the insert is going to be flush. Okay, or at least if it's not flush, maybe just below the surface. We don't want it sticking out ideally, so we need to make sure that we've got enough depth. Okay, so we'll use this item next. Luckily this is aluminium, so it's not mega difficult to do. If you was going into steel, then you would be having a little bit more aggravation with this counter boring tool. Now, we've done a little bit on that, but I still don't think that's going to be deep enough to take the insert itself, so I have to go some more. Okay, right, still do with a bit more, to be honest with you. Tiny bit more. Best to keep checking as you go along, just in case. You don't want it sitting too much below the surface if you can help it, and like I say, you want to try to avoid it sitting proud of the surface if you possibly can. I think one little tiny bit more and we're good to go. Right, that looks about right to me. Okay, so now we go in with a tap. I'm just going to grab a little tiny bit of grease for that. Okay, right, have some grease, and now we tap the thread for the actual insert itself. When tapping the thread, you need to try and keep the tap as straight and square as possible. This aluminium is only quite thin, so it's okay to run this tap all the way through. Usually you would make sure that you screwed in slightly with a tap and then backed off. This just breaks free any swarf that's in there and stops the tap binding up. So it would be, you would screw in a couple of turns, back off, and you would feel the actual swarf break off, and then you would continue to tap in, then back off again. Okay, it's just the way of doing it for stopping the tap binding, and worst case, if the tap binds and you snap it, then you're in all sorts of trouble trying to get a hardened tap out of the hole. Okay, right, so that's the next bit done. That's the thread tapped. I'm just going to give it a quick spray with some brake cleaner to clean the grease out of the thread. Okay, right, now that's good to go for the actual Timesert itself. Okay, right, next stage. The driver, a little bit of oil on the driver. Okay, put that in the wrench. and then we screw on the Timesert. Okay. Also, we're going to add, you don't have to, but I like to add a little bit of thread lock just for extra security. Okay, just grab some of that. Okay, here we have some thread lock. This is what they call permanent thread lock. It's the green. Little bit of that on there. Okay, once that's done, we can proceed to screw the insert into the casing. Should go in nice and easy, like so. As you can see, the insert going in, and then the driver will now pull that into the seat and open out that thread that I mentioned earlier, which locks it into the casing. Okay, once you feel the pressure release, the job is done, and you can then remove the Wurth driver, and you should be left with a nice new thread, and hopefully no leaks. Okay, there you go. And that is a done job. Thank you for watching.